Hey, welcome back everybody to another stupendous episode of The Careful Boys, where we got to talk about how U.S. tourists kind of suck around the world. Right? You guys hear about that baby wombat snatched U.S. influencer?
What?
No, what?
They're American?
Wait, who?
That's a real thing?
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
The U.S. influencer who was in Australia and snatched like a baby wombat, and there's this like viral video, and then everyone gets super mad.
Oh, why? Kill that.
It's always American tourists trying to mess with animals.
Kill that guy.
Dude, the real
It's a
question
girl.
is, what did the baby wombat do wrong to make the tourists want
What
to
was the
steal
baby
it?
wombat wearing? I know, Can.
We've heard this story before.
Yeah,
She
come
ran
on,
up to
man.
the baby wombat and the mother and grabbed it and ran over.
Just caught a baby.
Baby.
You gotta say it.
You gonna show it to us?
Just caught a baby wombat.
The internet is ablaze with backlash after an American influencer traveled to Australia, picked up a baby
my
wombat,
God.
and ran away from his mom in the wild.
Mother, it's like, oh, chasing after her.
It was definitely an incredibly stressful
What a
situation for
fucking
both
asshole.
the wombats and also for the viewers at home who could tell how just horrible this entire situation was.
Okay, Mama's right there, and she is pissed. Let's let him go.
She's so pissed.
We don't know exactly when this
Yeah, they let
happened.
her go and stuff, but it's just like that video goes viral, like literally snatching up a wombat, running away from the mom just to like get some sort of like footage, you know?
I feel like
Did they return it at least?
every teenager that I know would have done that.
Oh.
Don't make it okay. But I remember being fucking 14. I don't know how old she is. But you don't record that shit. That we know enough not to do that.
Yeah, not to post it, you know?
Yeah, that's like taking baby sea turtles out of its nest as it's hatching and picking it up and putting it back on the sand, and then it loses its sense of direction and never makes it to the ocean.
Did you do that? Is that why you know about
Oh
it?
yeah, I might
Very
have.
specific, Can.
Sounds like you did that. Sounds like a
Like
story.
when you know when you're doing it in like February and you're wearing like a red.
Yeah, and it's like mating season and all that. Exactly.
Beach.
I think it's also like context, right? Like let's say every teenager does do it and they film it. Let's say they film it and they post it. If you're
a
like
grown woman, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
She's not a
she was
teenager?
old as
an
fuck.
older person. But like let's say you're not an influencer who creates content, it's like that's a mistake. You should apologize, blah blah blah. But if you're like you make content, it feels like you're doing it for content, and that's like where the ethics line feels way more dirty.
Yeah. It's
I
gross.
also feel like if you're not in your own country, just be on your best behavior.
I don't
wherever you
understand
go.
why people don't think like that. But like I always get mad at my own people when they're out in Hawaii and they're trying to touch turtles and some local is like, "Stop getting close to turtles," you know? And it's like, fuck, dude, it would be some Chinese people trying to do this. But I feel like
Chinese tourists are funny.
But it's always-
They're the fucking
Chinese
worst.
tourists kind of suck.
I feel like it's them and American tourists are just like
They're the
they just
top
have, they just
two
have
worst.
bad raps, dude.
Top
They have
two
awful
worst.
raps.
Hey, who's worse though? U.S. tourists or Chinese?
Chinese
Different
tourists.
reasons.
Different reasons. The entitlement on Americans is crazy.
Americans want everything to be for them. Like they're hella entitled. They're like, I'm paying for it, so you should treat me like however I want to be.
Right.
And they don't even try to learn about how they conduct shit in other cultures.
Yeah.
Chinese people are too fucking oblivious.
Yeah, and nothing's a problem.
They don't demand shit, but they don't even take the time to research either how to like conduct themselves before they travel.
They're just doing their thing.
What's the problem?
Yeah. They're like, I'm gonna touch the turtle, and they walk up and they try to touch the turtle.
Or they like just go up to like a tall black guy, Chinese guy, and be like,
Yup.
NBA?
NBA.
Kevin
touching
Durant?
his hair and shit.
Yeah.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Anthony Edwards.
I might be biased, but I think the entitlement one is like more problem
It
causing.
grinds my gears more.
Because even if like the Chinese tourist is like doing something wrong, it might be annoying, but like if there's a confrontation, it ends.
If you
Yeah.
check them,
They'll stop.
Oh, sorry, I don't know.
Americans will argue.
Yeah, they're like, no, it's my right. I feel paid to be here. Blah, blah,
You know
blah,
what
blah.
it is? Chinese people are untaught toddlers that are just curious.
Yeah, they don't
So
know
they
the
just do
rules.
shit like, I'm gonna take a piss because I need to pee, right? American tourists, specifically, you know what? No, I take that back. It's boomer white American tourists.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Why?
Because I noticed that all, like, when you're in Hawaii, they don't like mainland tourists, but they're mainly talking about the boomers that are white. Same with Europe. When you go to Europe, they're not talking about us. They're not talking about the black people that are traveling. They're not talking about them. They're talking about a lot of the entitled boomers.
Or the rich college frat boys.
Yeah.
Oh, those are
yeah,
the
yeah.
worst.
Because they probably learned from the boomers. Oh, I see my dad do this.
But overall, though, all of us do, to their standards, complain too much. But that's because our consumer culture is built that way. Like, you're supposed to interact. You'll like, if they do give you a cold coffee, you go, excuse me, this coffee is cold. And then they go, oh, whoops. And then they'll go fix it and say, sorry about that.
Yeah.
But in other cultures, when you get a cold coffee, you go, fuck you, I'm gonna write a bad review. But you don't confront them.
You know how it being Asian America is like you're a minority here, but actually when you travel back to Asia, I actually feel like sick. Like nobody's gonna bat an eye and think I'm a tourist. You know, that's the one thing I think is cool. Because then they don't judge you as an American tourist anymore. Just because even though you're Asian American, you know what I mean?
You don't think they know?
I feel like they know.
They
bro.
know, but they don't judge you as hard as if you were coming there as like a white family with like, you know, they're probably like, oh, you know. That's how it feels at least.
I just feel like I get the best tourist perks in Hawaii.
Hell yeah,
'Cause
you're one of them.
Everyone thinks I'm a local brada, and then everyone's just super nice to me. And shit.
Oh, you want
Oh,
a
you're a
discount.
local brada. I remember I was at Giovanni's shrimp truck one
You want to
time.
marry my daughter, cuz?
Hey, you single local boy. I was literally there was this white dude, a boomer old white guy, who ordered before me. He was like 2 people ahead, and we both order. We're both standing and waiting. The white guy goes up and literally complains to the like asking for like, hey, is this my number ready yet? The guy says, no, not ready yet. He looks at me. He's like, hey, did you get your food yet? And I'm like, no, not yet. He's like, come here. What'd you order? I told him what I ordered. He's like, okay, bro, I got you. And he just gave me a plate right there.
And you're like, that's what racism feels like.
I was like, yo, that was cool.
He goes, yeah. He goes, is this the only state in America where like I can feel like a white person, but then reverse?
I was about to head to the tattoo shop and be like, I want the island red.
I'm ready for my 808 shoulder.
Yeah.
And a sea turtle on my low back, please.
A lower back.
Can I get the sea turtle, but in the tribal print, though?
I just remember feeling like, yo, that's cool.
You want to try marry my daughter?
You want to marry my daughter?
But I think it kind of makes sense if you grew up in America, like having everything you ever had all the time, so you carry that like mentality when you travel, and that's why it's so common, you know. Versus for us, it's like we never really had anything growing up as a minority, and then you go to the other places and you feel like, oh shit, I'm being respected because I'm more like these people, you know.
I think we're used to growing up in 2 worlds. So like you learn how to adjust. So like let's say if you grow up in the Asian household, like you have to be more that culture, and then when you go to school, you're more American, right? So you learn how to, and then like let's say you go to a Mexican restaurant or your Mexican friend's house, you have to do that. Like when you grow up in a bubble of only Asian, only white, whatever it is, I think it's really fucking hard for them because the whole culture shock is too different.
That's true.
Even within America, like if you grew up in an all-white neighborhood and all of a sudden you're like living amongst other people, like I think there's a lot of the culture shock of like, wait, are they being rude to me? And you take it personal, but you're like, no, that's actually the way they operate.
Also,
I was gonna say like that one white dude that jacked the poster in North Korea. Remember? And then he ended up getting like fucking put in like a camp or a prison. Then he ended up. I'm like, why would you do that? But I think for us, we know like. But then I think if you had everything and the world has always been around you, then to you, you're probably like, oh, cool, I'm at fucking Knott's Berry Farm, I'm gonna steal a little bit of this, you know? You're not knowing that, like, you're so used to doing that in another country, they just have different rules.
Yeah. That's the worst way to find out.
Yeah.
It's like, with like, for example, in China, one of the things that makes Chinese tourists around the world, like, crazy is their idea, like, there's no personal space or bubble. Yeah. Like, if you're holding something and they want to know what it is, they're gonna go up to you and they're just gonna like look at it. Yeah. But it's not like trying to be like offensive. It's just like, that's interesting. Like, what is that? Ha 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 ha. You know? And it's like they have, if they just stand right next to you in the elevator, there's like 100 people in the elevator. Like that's just how it is. Yeah. Whereas Americans will be very like, yo, this is my personal space.
Excuse me.
My favorite is Chinese tourists when there's lines forming for things, and they just go right in front.
Yeah, they
They're
don't
like,
have lines.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
that's what I need to go to. I'm just gonna go there.
Yeah. Oh, that's the front. That's the front.
Oh my god.
That's true. What are these people doing over here? I'm
If
so
you
awkward.
confront them about it, they're not gonna go back at you. They're just gonna be like, and then let you go and be like, yeah, and they're just confused.
Now they're number 2 to go in the line.
That shit's wild.
Not a bad deal. Good deal.
This is what I won't see Chinese tourists like outside of China. Like they might be like annoying or do this and just like get into a space where it's like, yo, you should know better, but they don't because nobody knows better when you're not in your own spot. Is Americans, they can get like drunk and rowdy and entitlement. And then when you already have that entitled nature and then you're like drunk and loud, then it's just problems.
No good.
Now you're like for real just like damaging something.
Yeah.
Whereas Chinese people, it's not like they're gonna get like super drunk and then like cause problems and yell at you in their language. It's just gonna, again, they're just gonna be like, oh, I think they don't like this and I don't like that, and then like walk away because they don't understand the language.
That's another thing too. Like Western country travelers, they can't hold their liquor. Like when they travel, they fucking vandalize everything.
I'm on vacation.
Because that's a big reason why in Japan they go no foreigners in this bar. Because like when they travel for some fucking reason, dude, they start busting up the furniture, getting crazy, the frat boy shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Frat boy shit. That's what it is.
but Asians don't do that though.
Nah, we don't like to break stuff.
Like, well, guys still fist fight when they're drunk, but they're not fucking up the whole neighborhood. And you know what I mean? Like,
It's because Asian dudes know that their card is attached to the room. They will be charged.
The deposit.
They know that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rack up a crazy bill if I do this. That video reminds me of one of my favorite instances of she probably was an American, but I don't know what part of the world it was. But they're at a beach, they're filming. There happens to be a bull on the beach. I don't know where it is. All the locals are all filming from their car, and they're all getting away from the bull. This one white lady is shooing the bull away, and she's on the beach.
This is my beach.
And then everyone's like, "Stop! Get away from the bull!" And she keeps like, "Fine, whatever." She's like, "Get out of here!" Like trying to,
I'm gonna tell the bull what to do.
like trying to treat it like it's like some like golden retriever.
Like a dog, yeah.
Yeah. And then guess what happens? The bull fucking starts tossing her around the beach, and you're just like, "Yo, this is crazy that you're watching this right now."
Oh my
But it's like,
God.
karma.
Someone
but
should
you
put
can't-
it down.
yeah. Like I would have.
It's the bull's fault.
Yeah, like
Now it's the bull's fault.
it's like she might. Yeah, it just you could tell it's just from a very probably Western country, whether it's the UK or America. It's just like, dude, you just can't go up to animals like that. You just can't act like a fool like this.
Hannah was telling me like before when she worked at a bar, it was like it was attached to a theater, so there were like American tourists that would come through, and the only stereotype they had was, oh, they tip. So when they see it like an American card, they're like, yeah, like we want to serve them, they're cool, right? But then like she's like, once she started working in Waikiki, she goes, I realize why people hate white people. Because in the past she was like, I don't get, because Europeans think they're white too. But when Americans talk about like, man, I don't fucking like white people, they're talking about American white people. They're not talking about foreigners.
Talk about howlies.
Yeah, we're talking about Hollies. And then she's like, I don't know what it is about the boomer white generation that are so fucking grumpy and entitled. They'll come up to the shop with a shit face, and then they just like demand the highest amount of service, and then they'll just be like so fucking mean. And I'm all like, yeah, but we're used to it. And I didn't even know it until she pointed it out. Of like, I understand, like, they don't do this in Europe. Like, people treat each other like, they don't treat each other like slaves. And then she goes, in America, like, they treat you like a piece of fucking shit. And I'm like, I never even thought about it that way.
Part of our proud history.
Dude, that reminds me of like slave master shit.
Get me more stuff.
But I also think it's a perspective thing, because like for us, we want tips, right? So we're like, customer's king, we'll serve you. What do you want? You want that adjustment? I'll fucking do that for you. Tell me your custom order. No, we don't sell that, but I'll make sure it happens. And then we get a higher tip. Out there, it's like they had a class system of servants and fucking whatever. And then it's like nobody wants to fucking be that like low level peasant and shit. So it's like you ain't treating me like a fucking servant. And it's like we're all equals here. and then here's your fucking drink.
You cunt.
Here's your drink, you cunt, you know? So I was like, oh, they don't even call it server or like waiter or whatever. Like those words are kind of it's touchy, right?
Oh, you can't.
Fellow human.
Yeah. Dude, no, so like she was like
Oh, it might.
when she came to America, and you know how like good customer service here is you're going into a store and immediately someone goes, hi, and then they go, can I help you with anything? You know your size? Can I find out? They want to serve you, right? Same at the restaurant. They come check. If you don't check 2-3 times, then it's bad service. But and she was so uncomfortable. She was like, why do they keep coming here?
Why do they keep bothering me?
Yeah. And then like she was like, they were like, she had orange juice one time and she didn't really finish it because she had a stomach ache, and they're like, oh, did you not like your orange juice? Do you want me to like just take it off your bill? And then she felt so bad that she fucking chugged the orange juice, but it was because she had a stomach ache. Oh. And I'm like, no, that's just America. Like, that's just good service. They're just concerned. They're trying to be attentive. But she's like, but in the UK, it's just way too much. So I was like, okay, I get it now. So like so the people here are used to that good service, right? So if they don't get that good service, they think that it's offensive. So I think that's the difference.
That's crazy. Maybe we're doing too much, huh? We should just revert it back to like, hey, you know, get your food, whatever, and then.
We just want your tips, dude. That's it.
No. What you do is you do auto tip on.
Or maybe all the descendants here are just the descendants of the ones that revolted, so they're rebellious in nature. So that whole culture just transcends everywhere.
It's like, I'm not gonna follow no fucking rules. America, dog.
You go into a lot of like larger retail shops in China, if they're not like overly busy, like an employee follows you around as you shop.
Wow.
Really? What do they do? Why?
Well, they're just waiting with you to help you.
Oh yeah, even like at the airport in Taiwan, like if you go to any duty-free shops, the minute you enter,
Yeah.
and they're just waiting to like help you the whole time.
That smile is so accurate.
And you're just like, dude, I just want to like, I'm just killing time. I just want to like eye shop.
Yo, I went to a mall in Taiwan and it was right when everything was opening, which was like 11 a.m. or something like that, and everybody in front of each of their shop standing out.
Yep.
Every time you walk by,
Yeah.
they just bow. They bow, like no matter what.
That's
crazy.
Asian service makes me feel uncomfortable.
Bro.
That shit's crazy. Yeah.
Because Asian service,
they look like me.
Doesn't it feel like low-key slavery?
Yeah.
Like that hierarchy is even more like, you know, when you're like flying at an Asian airline, when you talk to like an attendant or whatever, they get down on their fucking knees.
I felt like that when I was in Bali. Like all the people that were, and I'm like, bro, you guys don't gotta be doing all this. Like, it's cool.
I feel like if I'm at a duty-free store, I could be like, yo, give me 5 push-ups right now, and they'll just do it. That's how like submissive they, or like how like attentive they're.
I'll buy those Toblerones if you give me fucking 10 right now.